Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the all-new Florida Coffee Club, Coffee Time, brought to you by 286 Sunshine and a few others that you're going to get an opportunity to meet, though. I'm your host, Sabrina Watson. I may not always be your host, though. We are going to be testing some systems that may allow for others to be a host on this show as well. But first, I want to remind everyone that pursuant to the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Florida Constitution, 1838 Article and Section, Article 1, Section 5, that every citizen may freely speak, write, and publish its sentiments on all subjects, being responsible for the abuses of that liberty, and no law shall ever be passed to curtail, abridge, or restrain the liberty of speech or of the press. This presentation is private use of exercising guaranteed rights of the people. Good morning, Chance. How are you?
Russian like always. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. There. Okay, so we got Mike Cartwright coming up. He's been working on he's working on a couple of pieces, but he's going to talk to us today about the illegal immigration and the sheriffs in Florida who are not enforcing the laws. Have you had a chance? Have you seen anything about that yet?
We did a podcast here a little while back that has something to do a little bit about what Mike is going to discuss with us. So I am a little bit up to speed on that. And I'm sure Mike will bring us right up to par.
All right. Well, let's get him in here and see what he's got to say. Hey, Mike, how are you? Wait a minute. Hang on. There we go. Try it again. Hello.
Good morning, Sabrina and Chance. Thanks for letting me join you.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good to see you.
So you've been running the circuit recently, the circuit of clubs, shall we say, political clubs. You've been doing a presentation there. I want to know, first of all, tell everybody who you are, what you're working on, where they can find more information. And then I want you to tell me what your reception's been like at those clubs. Go ahead.
Well, then we're going to bring up the first slide with my business card. And my name is, do you have me on share, Sabrina? Can I share?
You're on share. Go ahead and share what you want to share. And then I will bring that share up for you. I can see it when you put it on the screen. There we go. Right there.
Hey, Mike Cartwright from Tampa, Florida, Hillsborough County, the free state of Florida. And I am a retired deputy sheriff from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, where I served proudly for 21 years. And I have a campaign called Save America from Illegal Immigration. And the website is accordingly named SaveAmericaFromIllegalImmigration.com. And I appreciate the opportunity to share with you and your viewers today about this.
Well, we're excited to have you. Let me remove your screen share for a minute. You can, there we go. And there you are. You are back. Where would you like to start? What do you got for us?
Well, I have a PowerPoint full of images. A picture says 1,000 words, so your viewers will have a better idea of what we're talking about. And what we want to do is give them answers and actions. We don't want to be just another talking head that's going to talk about the problem. You guys are also giving answers and actions, and that we have that here for the viewers today. This ICE program that you're referring to is titled 287G. And basically, it is to stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested, criminal, illegal aliens back into our community. And I want to stress that part, arrested, criminal, aliens, because one, these people broke the law coming across the border, and then the part that somehow or another, after they break the law, that they get registered and then are allowed to come in, I think that's criminal too, and feasant and libel on the part of our federal government. That's why I call them the maladministration. But now the second part is that for whatever reason, they've been arrested and they're in your county jail. And that's where your county sheriff has the ability to better protect and serve their community, their constituents, and their voters. And that's a very important part that I want to bring up, that we're not going to wait until August primary and November general election. We don't need to wait for a messiah or an election, particularly if we're worried it's going to be stolen from us again. We have not to wait for someone in Tallahassee to make a decision, or for some legislature to say, well, I'm going to create another bill. There's a program, there's a law, there's a procedure, there's immediate accountability and transparency of your local county sheriff that you can go to and ask them about their program, ICE 287G. And what I've done is painstakingly done the data mining and found out throughout the United States, in particular here in Florida, where we'll initially focus on, which counties are and which counties are not using this ICE program. And I want to repeat it for anybody to make sure that they know: stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested criminal illegal aliens back into our communities.
I just want to say one thing, that when we talk about the media and their propaganda, I've noticed it on the TV. They're trying not to call them illegal immigrants. They're like, we don't call them illegal aliens. We call them undocumented immigrants. What kind of BS is that? I mean, they're just basically trying to change the narrative. We're not even talking about truth there.
Well, you make a good point, and sorry, you forgot about neighbors and newcomers, but you're right over the target. And that's about the First Amendment and the PSYOPs. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of a chance to talk about fifth generation warfare, because that's what's being utilized against us. And part of that is what you bring attention to very well, Sabrina, is the narrative to change the language. And that's what they're trying to do. What part of illegal do these people not understand? Particularly, I'm going to keep the focus on sheriffs because that's my little wheelhouse. What part of illegal do the sheriffs not understand? I've identified 21 sheriffs here in the state of Florida that are not using this program. And I want to try and bring more attention to that. When you're able to allow me to go back to the PowerPoint, I want to share the image of one of these maps that I've created for the state of Florida.
You just tell me when you want to go there and we can do it.
Are you looking at the state map now?
Yep.
So in our key in the top right corner, you see that we identify the red counties as the good counties. Imagine that. And the blue counties as the bad counties. Those 21 blue counties are negligent. They're feasant. Those sheriffs have not signed on to the ICE 287G program, and they are putting illegal aliens, not neighbors and not newcomers, but criminals, aliens, back into our community.
Are you saying that the blue counties are you making reference to political flavor? Because I believe the Escambia County Sheriff is a Republican.
Well, they all claim to be Republicans, Chance. That's the buzzword that they all do. They all claim to be Republicans, even when they're not.
Well, I just want to, make the point. I don't want to participate in the divisional, as Mike calls it, psyops or propaganda that's going on, where the public elite is trying to divide us, because we have Republicans throughout the state. In the counties, in the sheriff's department, in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, that are go along to get along kind of guys. So it's not just red is good and blue is bad kind of thing.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. I think it's a full-on uniparty. But I'm sorry, I got your point.
So yes, a very important point that I should bring out. In that, no, the red and blue is not designating Republican versus Democrat. Actually, my research shows that there's only approximately 5 Democrat sheriffs amongst our 67 counties. And I would add that actually there's only really 66 sheriffs. Maybe we'll have some more time, but I'll briefly tell you that Miami-Dade hasn't had a sheriff for a long time, but for the first time this year, they are having an election, and they've got over 17 candidates running for Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, which will be reinstated over what I understand an absence of approximately 50 years, because in that interim, the mayor would appoint a police chief to the Miami-Dade Metro Police Department. But no, the red is used to designate the 45 counties that are utilizing the ICE 287G, and the blue has been used here to designate which one of the counties are not. And I want to make sure that you understand that for them to be able to join this program, they can simply sign a memorandum of agreement. MOA, a memorandum of agreement, which is a contract, an agreement with the federal government, with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to apply for this program. And you have to use sworn law enforcement in your jail to utilize this program. We'll be discussing during this that part of the problem is that some of these jails have been privatized. And we understand that with fiscal responsibility, that some of the Board of County Commissioners of some counties have taken back control of their jail. As I understand you're experiencing there in Citrus County, Sabrina, that is a privatized jail. So that is part of the problem. Let's say, for instance, in your county, Citrus County, in that they cannot sign on to the ICE 287G program because that is a private jail. They do not have sworn law enforcement, and that's a predicate. That's a prerequisite to be signed on to the memorandum of agreement. You have to have sworn law enforcement working in your jail.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. You may or may not know the answer to this. Let's say that the country switches hands as far as our supreme leader is concerned. And he says all county sheriffs must abide by the ICE 287 program. Does the sheriff have the authority to say, I'm not going to do that?
Actually, yes, they would, based upon who is interpreting the Constitution. And I'm sure it would probably be one of those things that would go to the United States Supreme Court, because we're watching our sheriffs now exercise their constitutional right and or interpretation throughout the land on many issues. This has not been the first time that, all sheriffs did not think alike. And particularly, I appreciate your question because it brings me to this next map I hope that you're looking at. For throughout the United States, again, using that same color coding, red designates the counties of which there is over 3,000 throughout the United States of America. Let me repeat that. There's over 3,000 counties and sheriffs throughout the United States of America, but at this present time, only 137 are signed on to this program, the MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, to the ICE 287G program to stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested criminal aliens back into our community. So you can see, just as you point out, not all of these sheriffs agree whether they think that this is right or not. Now, I would offer that that depends upon the voters. You know that some areas, some counties are considered more conservative and constitutional than others. And I would offer that that's where maybe the sanctuary areas are being created, because we know places like New York City is a sanctuary, Chicago is a sanctuary, San Francisco, in fact, the whole state of California will get to that. They have opted out of these programs, and that's because their sheriffs want to get elected, want to get reelected, so they take polls, they try to get a sense of what the voters want, and they're responding accordingly.
So when you say they're responding accordingly, is there a possibility that they're just holding these individuals, or are they releasing them?
Well, thank you very much. The program gives the sheriff the right to hold the arrested criminal illegal alien an additional 48 hours. And I want to add that the federal government pays them $50 a day, which is usually about the average for a inmate that is not a problem, not requiring medical assistance or anything else. They give them a small fee to help cover their cost to hold them the additional 48 hours. Because what happens is that if you have a prisoner, an illegal alien, and a higher, crime, extradition is exercised, and the paperwork, you know about bureaucracies, you've got to have the documentation. If someone doesn't come in with the documentation for an extradition to take them from the local sheriff who made that arrest, because they say, well, we have a warrant for higher charges, and after you're done with them here in your county, we need to extradite them to our state, to our county, to where they can face these additional charges. Otherwise, a sheriff, after they're to be released for serving their local time, a sheriff will be liable. A sheriff will be feasant. These illegal aliens apparently have rights, and they have attorneys that are willing to help defend them. And there are numerous cases where arrested criminal illegal aliens are filing lawsuits, not only against the county government, but the state government and the federal government if their rights are violated. Isn't that an amazing that someone would invade our country and they have rights? You know, a lot of people think that this is not going to affect them. Well, it is, because every taxpayer in the United States of America is paying for this, and it's a physical burden. And what happens is that those aliens that come here and do work are not often enough contributing back by paying their taxes. Oftentimes, they are able to save their money or send their money back overseas, back to where they came from. So you are fitting the bill. those people who think that, bad things don't happen to good people. Well, if you're concerned, if anything else than your personal pocketbook, every United States of America taxpayer is footing the bill, and it is costing us billions and billions and billions of dollars. And what happens is it is growing exponentially. And if we are not able to soon enough stop it, are we even going to be able to effectively remedy and fix and remove the problem if we get the right president elected and sworn in on January 2025?
I have to say, we've already dealt with the problem that our elected officials don't hold any town halls and they don't listen to us. The only way for us to take back our country is for people in those individual areas. They've got to come together. They've got to start instructing their elected officials, and they have to start holding them accountable, period. And one thing I love about the coffee club is we're free to agree to disagree, but Chance, that my focus is about holding them accountable on a personal level. And that's what I'm working on. I'm going to hold these people accountable, and I'm going to assist anybody who wants to hold somebody accountable. An elected official has violated their rights or violated the Constitution, because I believe that's the only way we're going to run the really bad ones out.
All right. Well, it's just after an hour. I'm going to cut and run out of here. Mike, it was good seeing you. I hope to get together with you soon as I'm not quite the expert that Sabrina is when it comes to this video platform, but I'm working on it. And when I get that up to speed, we'll have you on the Stand podcast, and we'll discuss this again.
I want to thank you for joining us, Chance. I want to say you and Recall Florida, we're really proud of the work you're doing. It was an honor to have met you a couple years ago there in Citrus when we were working and speaking in front of an audience on this. And I want to thank you for being one of the first people to ask me to be on your show. And I really look forward to the opportunity. Thank you for joining us today.
You have a good day, Mike. And Sabrina, I guess are you going to have Josie on a little bit later?
I don't know whether Josie's going to pop on or not. Who knows who will pop on, right?
All right. Well, that's true. If you see her, tell her I said hello, and you guys have a good day, have a safe day, and we'll see you again next Thursday.
All right, Chance, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mike, what else you got in this PowerPoint to show us?
Oh, I really do appreciate it. We haven't even had a chance to talk about some of the individual cases because there's thousands, if not tens of thousands, of victims of crimes committed by illegal aliens. Only some of the most what people, fake news, mainstream media finds sensational. You remember the old term, if it bleeds, it leads. Remember that from the old days, newspapers? If it bleeds, it leads. So it's only some of these more violent and hideous crimes. So here displayed in our image is the student who was at the University of Georgia campus, and an illegal migrant attacked her and killed her. And if you'll recall that POTUS, Puppet Biden, in a short time thereafter in a press release, didn't even want to call them illegal immigrants. In fact, the press secretary later on came back and recanted, saying that he didn't mean to call them illegal. And that's the point I make. Again, illegal immigration is a crime, and we need to make sure that from top to bottom, all of our government officials are on the same page and treating it that same way. I particularly also wanted to share this story here, Governor DeSantis has a statewide and nationally recognized spokesman now for angel families. I want to tell you, but briefly, about Nikki Jones and her two daughters. They lost their husband and father to an illegal alien. He was a 20-year decorated military veteran, Air Force retiree who was living in Hillsborough County, Plant City, and was returning home, and he was struck by a drunken, habitual traffic offender, illegal alien who had had multiple arrests and multiple deportations, but again was back in America in Hillsborough County, and again committed another traffic offense and another DUI arrest, and this time he killed one of the members of our residents. How many of our friends and family and fellow citizens do we have to lose until our citizens and voters and sheriffs will wake up and take responsibility and stop the deportation and stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of these illegal aliens?
That's a great point.
And I'd like to tell you about Sheriff Bob Galtieri. His office is signed on to this program. Good job, Bob. Good job, Pinellas County. But they lost one of their deputies. Deputy Michael Hartwick was working a traffic construction detail along the I-275 interstate there in Pinellas. He was struck and killed by an illegal alien. Well, not just another motorist, but actually someone who was improperly hired by one of the contractors working on the site, operating a heavy machinery, and ran over and killed the deputy. Well, now, it would have been a little bit different if he'd have stopped, but having run over and killed the deputy and being a hired employee, he thought the best thing for him to do was flee. So he drove away on the state contracted heavy equipment and tried to escape. And they had to call out and do a manhunt for him for several hours. Finally caught and arrested him, and affirmed him being an illegal alien, and he is still facing criminal charges and sentencing for this death that was just 2 years ago. And again, I want to affirm he's operating heavy equipment. He's hired by a subcontractor for the state and federal Department of Transportation, working and operating these things. And that's why, the governor's program of having verification of employees is a great idea. And we need to support that law because, it's all about follow the money. You know that, Sabrina. We've been around long enough. You follow the money and you can often get to the root of the problem. And so a lot of these employers don't do a good job of screening and vetting their employees because they want to get that cheap labor. And here's a perfect example of the negligence, of the feasance of the subcontractors in our own system. And I applaud Governor DeSantis in creating a new law that for any company that has over 25 employees, that verifying that each one of your employees is a citizen is really important.
Absolutely. Interesting that this person who killed a officer paid for by your tax dollars was in fact driving equipment and he was being paid for by your tax dollars. How does that happen?
Follow the money. we have a terrible system and it needs to be fixed. And I just want to make sure that we continue with our effort today to make sure that we're not waiting for August primary and the November general election and the January swearing in. One, we have a pretty good governor who's doing the best he can about this, and we need to hold our other elected officials accountable. Not just our sheriffs, I want to say even our legislators, because they also can help defund. As we mentioned, follow the money. Well, that's exactly the point. We need to defund these places that are negligent. There's a statute, Florida Statute 908.11. Let me repeat, Florida Statute 908.11, which mandates that all 67 counties and their respective sheriffs or board of county commissioners should be signed on to the ICE 287G program. And there's not. There's 21 counties that are not signed on to this program, and each and every citizen in that county, and especially voter, should be asking their sheriff and their board of county commissioners who help fund their sheriff and approve their budgets, why are you not signed on to this program? To let me repeat it ad nauseum, stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested criminal illegal aliens back into our communities. We've got to stop. Yes, the slide we're looking at here now, the Center for Immigration Studies has done some calculations, and they're figuring that right now, presently, each illegal alien costs nearly $70,000 during their lifetime. That is not what immigration is about. You know, you and I would agree that legal immigration is what is the optimum goal, but certainly not illegal if the taxpayers have to pay for that bill. And again, here in this next slide is, I told you before that Florida is becoming a destination. They really like Florida, and particularly I want to make note that illegal aliens are being intentionally told what areas that they would like them to go to, where they would get the biggest resources, and that is part of the Stop the Steal. That is part of the steal for 2024. They're trying to put illegal aliens into these communities and trying to get them to get registered to vote, which I will say again is illegal, but sorry, there's a lot of people that seem to differ, that depending upon your state laws and your local laws and whatever kind of loopholes that they're trying to get illegal aliens registered to vote. We saw this same problem 4 years ago when we passed a law here in the state of Florida that was trying to better enforce having convicted felons vote. But we saw, whether it was the citizens and or the various supervisors of election, either unintentionally or intentionally violated that and had these felons who had not had yet their voting rights restored arrested. And good kudos for our governor having just after that last election and trying to bring back election integrity, particularly with his creation of the OECS, Office of Election Crimes and Security, tried to do something about it, read the national headlines that 44 convicted felons were arrested in a task force pickup of criminal felons that hadn't had their rights restored. Well, what's it going to be like when all of these illegal aliens illegally vote? And what are we going to do that, particularly after the voter rolls and polls have already been attained and someone is going to be appointed? We need to fix this problem right now, ASAP. As you see here, 71% of illegal immigrants are being sent to Republican congressional districts. They're trying to turn.
Let me interrupt you for just a quick minute, Mike. Go back to the slide you had before. I have a question about
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We're talking about 70% of sheriffs who are enforcing illegal immigration, yet the headline on this slide you have says Florida becomes easy alternative over Mexican border. How is that possible?
Well, thank you. That's a really good point. In this previous map here that we tried to show what was going on with the southwest border, Florida is also a border state because they're coming across in boats. If your listeners and the people don't know, there are instances of boats and rafts coming up onto the shoreline. There are instances of the United States Coast Guard in our state and international waters making contact with vessels full of illegal immigrants that are trying to make Florida. And unfortunately for us, the humanitarian aspect is that they're providing resources for these people that are near death, that their boats are barely navigable, but they're bringing into the United States. It's like they're helping across the border. And you know that the tip of Florida and Key West area is just a 90-mile difference from Cuba across the Straits of Florida. So, there's another border there for the state of Florida. But I need to make this point further about it's not just the southwest border and it's not just Florida. The whole nation, all 50 states are border states. Now, the Biden administration, maladministration, that's bad, maladministration, has programs where they are flying illegal aliens from these countries directly into airports throughout our country so that they can be more easily disseminated out into our population. So they're not just coming across the border or coming over in rafts. Our own maladministration. We have a terrible federal government this time that is trying to destroy our country. God, family, and country. They have sequentially come after that. They came after our God, they came after our family, and now they're after our country, and they are trying to destroy it.
So, Mike, not to interrupt you again, but I do want to note that I have had a conversation with an individual in the Air Force, and I brought this to the attention of that individual that these people are and children are being trafficked into our Air Force air bases in the middle of the night. And this individual was absolutely 1000% aware of it. So our own Air Force personnel see this. They know what's going on. So I just want to say that. But then secondarily, you talked about people being arrested who voted, who did not have their rights restored. What about the SOEs? Isn't that their job to make sure that all of this stuff is legal and above board and taken care of? Why aren't we holding SOEs accountable? Sorry, go.
Yes, a very good point. We shouldn't just wait for the next election 4 years later to hold our SOEs accountable. Unfortunately, the trend has not been just in Florida, but throughout many of the other states throughout our nation, is that these election crimes are being ignored. You have seen that local law enforcement and state attorneys and the attorney general have found and been shown proof, probable cause of not just misdemeanors but felonies in abundance are being committed, and they're not being prosecuted. This is not just a political problem where you can point the fingers at just one political party. There is negligence on our own local, state, and federal government in not enforcing the laws that we already have to stop this. That's why I would like to applaud again Governor DeSantis and many of the sheriffs that have signed on in a coalition to this ICE 287G program to try and stop this invasion. And we need to try and get all of our sheriffs throughout the state of Florida. There's 66 of them. Again, there's going to be 67 in this next election for Miami-Dade, but we need to get these other 21 counties that are not in this program on it, and that way we can show the nation that Florida has 100% of their counties utilizing this ICE 287G program. And I want to make sure at this time that some of these counties that are still blue and they're not enforcing the program, one, we pointed out the flaw about the jail may be private. Well, let me explain that to you. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. If you think you're saving a little bit of money or thousands of dollars by having your privatized jail because you think that that will be more efficient, well, you need to take a look is if you don't have sworn law enforcement in your jail so that you can use the deportation program, and you're just going to keep putting these illegal criminal aliens back into your community, well, it's like a sinking ship. If you're not going to fix the leak, it's just going to continue to sink. And I would like to say that I'm being told that some of the sheriffs and Board of County Commissioners are signing on to the program, but the federal government, the ICE program, is apparently intentionally delaying these applications because that's part of the misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation that we're getting from the present POTUS maladministration. They're trying to pretend that they're doing something about the border crisis and the invasion, and all they're doing is just changing the words and the nomenclature to try and make it look like they are, but they're really not, because they're trying to steal the vote. They're trying to make sure that, I'll put it in my own language, that the United States of America becomes the United Socialist States of America.
Absolutely agreed. I had a question, but unfortunately I just lost the thought. Go ahead.
Hey, we've got time, and we really appreciate you letting us show and talk about this. And you were talking about, some of the answers in action. So that's what our program and our website that we want to make sure that your viewers go and look at, SaveAmericaFromIllegalImmigration.com. There's lots of resources that you're going to be able to find there that are going to help give you the ammunition that you need. On that website, SaveAmericaFromIllegalImmigration.com, we have created a link to the state maps. So for each one of the 50 states, we have painstakingly drawn and mapped out which counties are and are not signed on to the MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, to this ICE 287G program. So you can look at that map and find out whether your sheriff is or is not signed on to that program. And again, here in the state of Florida, 21 of them are not. And that's what we need to particularly target and identify. And for the people that maybe are not able to see the slide, let me at this time announce those counties that are not in the program, that are identified here on the map as blue. You need to talk to these sheriffs and Board of County Commissioners in the counties of Alachua, Citrus, Dixie, Escambia, Gadsden, Gilchrist, Gulf, Glades, Hillsborough, Jackson, Lee, Miami-Dade, Okaloosa, Orange, Palm Beach, Pasco, St. Lucie, Union, Volusia, and number 21, Washington. These 21 counties are not signed on to the 287G program, and you need to ask your sheriff why. And if your sheriff says, well, I signed a memorandum of agreement, show me. I'm from Missouri. I was born in Kansas City. I'm from the show me state. These sheriffs are police officers and they're politicians. You should question your sheriff. You should ask, if you say you signed on to the memorandum of agreement, why have you not been approved? What was the date that you signed onto that program? Show us. If you don't believe them, do a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Do a public records request. Make them show you. When did you sign on to that program? Much of this is a problem. It's a holdover from the Obama era. As you know, the former 45th president, Trump, tried to do a good job and by building the wall to stop the invasion. But this is basically, as we see it, the Obama administration is back and they are running the puppet that I liken to call POTUS, Biden. POTUS, President of the United States. That puppet, I call POTUS. You recognize him as Biden, Biden, B-I-D-E-N.
I call him Manchurian, but okay.
Manchurian. Biden, B-I-D-E-N, biggest idiot Democrats ever nominated. Write that down. Biden.
Well, I think that he was selected, not elected. But I want to talk real quickly about you've got something that people can ask the sheriff to sign. Is that a download on? Let's talk about how it's being delivered. Is that a download on your website? The resolution is a download.
Yes, it is. And thank you for asking. We passed unanimously in our Hillsborough County resolution to the sheriff because he has not signed on to that program, or not that we know for sure, and we're trying to validate his claim that he has to the program. So we have created a resolution that is on the website that is simply a fill in the blank, a printable version that you can take to your local rec, for example, or your local club and fill in the blank, make a vote. It passed unanimously here in Hillsborough County, where you ask your sheriff and your board of county commissioners to sign on to that 287G program. Remember, the sheriff is a constitutional officer, but his budget is to be approved by the board of county commissioners. Every one of those citizens, and particularly voters and taxpayers, should be asking, why are we letting illegal aliens back into our community when they should be deported? And that's what you need to get these other 21 sheriffs and counties, is to sign on to this program so that we can show the rest of the nation that Florida is 100% behind this program. And I wanted to make sure that I got that idea about these 21 sheriffs is to ask them that they've signed on to that program. And particularly, besides the map and besides the website, SaveAmericaFromIllegalImmigration.com, on that website, you can also click or go yourself to the ICE.gov website and click on the 287G program, and they periodically, I believe it to be quarterly, I believe it to be approximately every 3 months, that they update that list with whatever new counties have signed on to the program. But from what I've been able to ascertain from my data mining, my research, it has been approximately 2 years since any county throughout the nation has been approved and put on that program. There could be a multitude of sheriffs and counties that are being stalled on this program that have applied to it. I was told that Pasco County, which you see here in our map, has applied for it. I was even told that Hillsborough had applied for the program. It had not yet been approved. So it's not just the president, not just the state, but it's also our sheriffs. We need to find out where along the lines is this program that would deport these illegal aliens and help protect our communities. Where is it not being enforced? What is the problem, and go and fix it. Today, you and I, Sabrina Watson, 286 Sunshine, we're here providing answers and action. We're here to make sure we're not waiting for the election. We're not waiting for someone in Washington or Tallahassee. We can go to our sheriff and ask for accountability and transparency. Why are you not in this program? And if there's someone else that's holding you up, then we need to hold them accountable, not just in the election, but also immediately asking them and making them aware. There's people throughout the nation that think that their law enforcement, particularly their sheriffs, are doing the very best job they can to protect and serve them. And that's what today's mission has been, is to try and inform the viewers, is that if they're not in this 287G program, then they're not getting the best of their taxpayers' dollars and the best of protect and serve from those that we elect and those that we depend on to help keep us safe.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Sheriff, that is on that website, saveamericafromillegalimmigration.com. We want to stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested criminal illegal aliens back into our community. It's insane.
Absolutely it is. I thank you for being here, Mike. Until next time, you guys, it's the Florida Coffee Club. Come and visit us. If you've got something going on in Florida that you need exposed and you want to be able to come bring it to the group and get it out there, you can reach us at info@286sunshine.com or on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, our Telegram. We don't have Instagram, sorry. Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, Rumble, Getter, Truth. We're on them all. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for being here, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.